Hi guys, in this video I want to tell you my 10 learnings from the book Atomic Habits from James Clear. So here you have it. And well, this is a book I really liked, and as you can see I read it on my ebook, and this has several reasons actually, but I can do a separate video on that if you want. So before we get started with the list, I want to ask you something. Do you think you're a potato or an egg? So I didn't get crazy or something. It's just a metaphor that the author uses in his book. And at the end of the list, I will let you know what you are or what does it mean at all. So I hope you stay until the end and just enjoy this list. Let's start with the number 1. So number 1 is tiny changes, remarkable results. This is actually the subtitle of the book, and this means you don't have to make huge changes to change your life. So you don't wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going to run a marathon and I'm going to do it now. You go out for your first run, maybe you run 10 minutes, and then it builds up, and at some point you run a marathon. But it's kind of a process that starts with one tiny change. This could mean, for instance, that you use an application to learn a language, or that you watch a video for 5 minutes, or something very tiny that builds up, and at some point it means that you learn a lot, even if you don't increase it. Imagine what would happen if you would watch 15 minutes of video material in Spanish or whatever language you're learning for 1 year. At the end of the year you would be very good probably, or at least you would have a basic level of this language. But if you fall into the trap of all or nothing, then it's very hard to make changes in your life, because maybe you don't have the time to spend 3 hours a day like you maybe would like to. So yeah, tiny changes, remarkable results. Let's see number 2. Number 2 is don't change your results, change your systems. So maybe you're eating a lot of fast food, and for instance, and your kitchen is full of fast food, and you want to change your results of feeling, and you just don't change what you're buying, and you want to change the results. I mean, that's difficult. So just change whatever you're grocery shopping, and then you can change the results, but you have to change the systems first. So if you're like, okay, I really want to learn German, but I'm procrastinating all the time and I'm just pushing it back, well, it's difficult to learn a language like that. So you have to change your system and not really the results, because the results come from your system. So yeah. Let us see number 3. Number 3 is similar to number 2. Don't set goals, change systems. What does it mean? Imagine you're studying for an exam which will happen next week, and you're studying the whole time. At some point, the day of the exam arrives and you take it. Maybe you get great results, but if your objective goal was to take the exam and have a success, well, it's probable that you will forget everything after some weeks. This is what happened to me in high school in a lot of subjects. And if you want to learn something like really for the sake of it and not just because you want to pass an exam, well, this is not the right approach. James Clear says in the book that you don't want to win the race, but you want to keep playing or keep running. I don't remember exactly the metaphor, but with language learning it's like this. You just want to keep your level or improve it, but you don't want to just have a big result for one day and then forget everything. So you don't have to set a goal, but change your systems. And let's go for number 4. Number 4 is really powerful. Make your habit turn into your identity. So what, for instance, the author says, you shouldn't aim to read a book, you should aim to become a reader. So you can apply the same with language learning. You shouldn't aim to learn a language, you should become a learner. So if it's part of your identity, it's more probable that you will be doing it. That's why there are some sentences about ourselves which we tell ourselves which are not good. Like if you keep telling yourself you're lazy and this is like part of your identity, this is really bad because it reinforces with your habits, and yeah, it's a vicious circle. So what you want to look for is kind of an identity which you identify with and which helps you build habits. So for instance, I love languages. For me, it's not a problem to learn a new language. I really enjoy it. And I think it's also part of my identity. So yeah, that's the tip number 4. Let's go for number 5. So the number 5, well, I picked this one because the author, James Clear, talks about the 4 laws of behavior, which are make it obvious, make it attractive, make it simple, and make it satisfying. So some habits we have, we're not conscious of. So for instance, I have the bad habit of biting my nails, and it's something I do unconsciously. But if I find a way to make it obvious, if you guys have any tips, please give them to me. Then it will be easier to stop with this behavior. Another way is to make it attractive. So if it's a bad habit, you do the opposite. For instance, with the fingernail biting, you just make it unattractive. There are those, if you guys are struggling with that, there are those, I don't know how they're called, but it's like a product that makes your nails taste horrible. So you stop doing it. So you make it unattractive. But if it's something good, you make it attractive. So for instance, if you're learning, I don't know, Chinese and you feel, okay, it's hard, maybe you can compensate somehow. You can say, okay, whenever I've learned 15 minutes, then I get to drink my favorite tea. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but then it's kind of something in your mind like, something good's gonna happen. Make it simple. Okay, imagine you're studying in, I don't know, in a school that's 1 hour away from your home and you have to take a bus and then it's night and you come back and it's dark. No, this is complicated. You're gonna have trouble sticking to it. So make it very simple. Look maybe for a school which is nearby. Study online. Stuff like that. So, and satisfying, well, you have to have fun. This is like key part of it. So if you don't like sitting and learning grammar like that, maybe you can watch a movie, or maybe you can take a walk and listen to a podcast, or. So if you have other suggestions, just write them in the message section, and let's go for number 6. Well, this one is just good for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, leave your phone out. Phone is really distracting and it's very easy to use and to get trapped into it. So it's better to just leave it out. So if you have to concentrate, say, okay, so 2 hour phone free time, and then you can concentrate a lot better. But why is actually the phone so addictive? Well, actually because of the 4 laws we saw before. It's very obvious, like it's lying around, you can use it. It's attractive, the whole colors, the whole content, it's entertaining, it's easy, you don't have to do much, you're not active. It's simple, you don't have any difficulties to use it, and it's satisfying, right? So you're just looking at your feed and, I don't know, just chilling. But if you hide it somewhere, then it's not obvious anymore and it's not simple because you have to stand up and take it and so on. And also for your computer, there are also softwares which you can use. I've used one that's called Cold Turkey, and then it just blocks some websites at the time you wish. So it's maybe something you could give a try. yeah, so I hope you like this video, and I would really recommend to read the book, because those are like some, not say random, but I picked them myself. I don't know, maybe you would take some other conclusions from the book. And I only picked the ones that I thought could relate to language learning. There were some others which to me were really interesting, but they didn't relate to language learning, so that's why I didn't use them. Okay guys, hope you like it, and if you do, just give a thumbs up and subscribe, and also let me know if there's something you didn't like. You can just write it in the comments, and then I can improve for the future. Okay, bye!